The sprint car landscape is shifting rapidly as plans for 2025 start to get confirmed, and today I'll run you through a bunch of the different scenarios and situations, including the CJB announcement, what's next for Spencer Bayston, where does Justin Peck go, and what I know on several other deals. Plus, we'll talk a big weekend of racing ahead and a lot more. Let's go. It's Thursday, October 17th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Eldora Speedway's final big event of 2024 starts today with the 44th Dirt Track World Championship. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series finale highlights the weekend with modifieds, super stocks, and steel block late models also on the card. If you're going to be in town, make sure to stop by the Whistle Stop and grab something to eat. It's just a 7-mile ride straight south of the racetrack to Ansonia. All week, you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, pizza, and you can get some food to bring back to the track with you. Like, for example, if you're camping and you don't want to cook, head down to the Whistle Stop, get something to eat, bring it back to the track with you. And when you stop in, they got a full bar. You can grab a nice adult beverage. Say hi to Andrew and his staff. They do a great job. If you want to ride a little bit further south, head to Sure Shot Tap House in Greenville, Ohio. It's a great place to eat, drink, and play. They've got a full menu plus all sorts of adult beverage options on tap, self-pour, plus the Bullseye Game Lounge upstairs with duck pin bowling and 24 arcade games. When you're not at Eldora, keep yourself fed and entertained with these two establishments, the Whistle Stop and Sure Shot Tap House. Thanks to them for their support of Eldora and this show. A big episode today, a lot to get to, so settle in. This one's going to be a little bit longer than usual, but again, there's a lot to talk about. As expected, with the end of the Kubota High Limit Sprint Car season, we are starting to get confirmations on team changes, and yesterday was one we have known was coming for a while. If you watch the show regularly, you knew that things were going to be very different for the CJB ride for 2025. They had already announced Barry Jackson stepping back from the road, and we know that Ty Wolfgang will move from his car chief role at Casey Kane Racing with Brad Sweet in the 49 to take over as the crew chief of this car. The next big question is driver, and at least half of that part of the situation is now confirmed, with CJB announcing yesterday that after 3 seasons together, Spencer Bayston is officially moving on. Bayston joined the team late in 2021, and they were a full-time Outlaw team in 2022 and 2023. 2 Outlaw wins that first year and another one the second year, but 8th in the standings both seasons. And then they moved to High Limit for 2024, but it didn't spark any boost in performance. No wins, and again, 8th in the standings. So now the two sides split, and I can't stress enough how much things have changed drastically here in recent days with CJB's plans. The sentiment all along had been that Justin Peck was getting this seat. And jumping back to some messages I have, the first mention of Peck to CJB I can find was sent to me back in late July. Then by early September, everyone was saying this was a done deal. And I was told that even as late as this past weekend at Texas Motor Speedway for the High Limit finale, Peck thought everything was still good to go. But supposedly there may have been issues with sponsorship, and late in the process, another driver entered the picture. I don't think we'll get an announcement from CJB on this next driver right away, as it sounds like there's still a few details to be worked out here. But this move will definitely shock some folks. I've been all over social media since the announcement that Bayston was out was made, and I have yet to see a correct guess on who it is. The usual suspects that keep popping up, you see Justin Sanders or Chase Randall, I've seen Danny Sams or Emerson Axum. All of those names are not the name we are hearing. As for the Bayston side of this, I'm sure many of you have seen and heard the rumors about him replacing Corey Day in the Jason Meyers Zone 14. The idea being the Day will have to pull back from full-time sprint car competition, and Meyers will need a driver to fill that spot. This still might end up being true, but I don't know if this is quite the lock that some are saying it is. I've got lots of friends on the NASCAR side of things, and I have yet to hear a final plan and schedule for Day's 2025 season. I know that ARCA is on the table, I know that Trucks is on the table, maybe some Xfinity stuff, but we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, and it sounds like they don't either. Until that's finalized, I don't see Meyers making any decisions for the future. So again, it could still be Bayston, but I don't think this one is done yet. And in the meantime, I've heard Bayston could be in line for other rides, including one that was around in 2023, but disappeared for 2024. Real quick before we talk more silly season, hit that subscribe button or follow button wherever you tune into the show. There's going to be a lot to figure out as we get into the off season, and subscribing will make sure you don't miss a thing. As news breaks, we'll be here to talk about all of it. And if you weren't aware, the Daily Show doesn't go dark in the off season months. We'll be here as usual 5 days a week, all the way through, keeping you informed on everything that happens. And subscribing and following, it's free. Taking the sprint car silly season stuff a little bit further, there are a bunch of other moving pieces. You know, the CJB stuff, that is just one small part of this. We talked yesterday about the Rudine 26. We know Trey Starks is going to be in that car this weekend. That situation is going to remain fluid. And now that Justin Peck is back on the market, he's going to be scrambling this week to try and put a deal together, even though it's starting to get late. He's racing Trophy Cup at Tulare with Clayton Snow, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a meeting or a couple of meetings lined up for the next few days with car owners. I know he's been making a lot of calls. Another ride we talked about this week was the second Roth Motorsports entry, and it was confirmed yesterday that Ryan Timms will be in a Roth car for Trophy Cup this weekend. I first alerted you guys to this one last week, and he could be a serious candidate not only for that ride, but for others for 2025. And then other drivers who are shopping for rides still include a guy like Chase Randall. He's still trying to lock something down after departing TKS several weeks ago, but I've had several friends tell me he comes with sponsorship, so I have a hard time believing somebody won't take a chance on him. And there are rumblings that Chris Windom is exploring his options as well. He was full-time with Vermeer Motorsports this year with High Limit, but they struggled as well, finished 15th in the standings, just 2 top 10 finishes. And all of this is to say nothing of some of the other stuff we've already talked about, like Brent Marks may be coming off the road, questions with Parker Price Miller, the series choices, all of that. There are also likely crew changes coming, and one top driver could potentially be working with a new crew chief next year. I tweeted this yesterday, but everything very fluid right now. Some stuff is literally changing hour by hour. I really felt like this year could be a bit quieter, especially after what we had in 2023, but things have ramped up significantly. Literally, by the time I get this episode posted, things will likely have changed yet again. But as of me writing this show, this is a lot of what I know right now. Before we move on, speaking of silly season stuff, this stuff on the late model side, we'll talk about some of the racing stuff here in a minute. I just want to acknowledge some of the Josh Richards stuff. There have been a few whispers in recent weeks about some sort of comeback, return to the dirt late model world, and I know that hit social media pretty hard yesterday. I've had that one sent to me a bunch and multiple DMs about it. I have zero confirmation on this one, and some other industry friends are on the trail, but they have very little info as well. So yes, I've seen it, I've heard it, but if it's true, I don't know, and I don't have a feel for what that could look like. Is it a part-time schedule? Is it a full-time schedule? Maybe some sort of other role that doesn't include driving? We don't really know at this point. All right, moving on to the dirt racing weekend ahead. I'm going to start here in a non-traditional place, and that's the USAC CRA sprint cars. I'm doing this for a very specific reason, which I will get to shortly. RJ Johnson currently leading Tommy Malcolm and Austin Williams for that championship with 5 races left. They're at Imperial Valley Raceway this weekend for 2 nights. If you know Southern California at all, Imperial Valley is not far off Interstate 8. It's on the south side of the Salton Sea. It's about 100 miles south of the Palm Springs area. The reason I bring this up, though, is the track has made general admission tickets free for both nights. So you can see the CRA 410 sprint cars, non-wing sprint cars, plus Ecotech midgets, Lightning sprints, and Heritage cars, all for free. This is obviously a massive risk for the racetrack, so if you are in the San Diego area, Palm Springs, or somewhere in Southern California, not far away, head out and support these guys. At Eldora, it's championship weekend for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Like I said, the 44th Dirt Track World Championship starts tonight. They got modifieds and super stocks today. Friday, we'll see Lucas qualifying in heats plus modifieds and steel block late models. And then Saturday night, you'll get the steel block finale plus the $100,000 to win main event for Lucas. And we will see that champion crowned. Brandon Shepard, the defending Dirt Track World Championship winner. Remember, he won that wild race a year ago driving for Kevin Rumley. The Lucas Championship chase at the moment has Ricky Thornton Jr. leading Jonathan Davenport and Devin Moran by 50 points, with Tim McCready fourth, 165 back. McCready effectively out of the fight. This will come down to the other 3. And if my math is correct, RTJ wins with a 4th place finish on Saturday, or 6th if neither Moran or JD go quick time. Lucas pays points for quick time, so that's why it changes. With all of the teams going to Eldora, I do think it's possible that we could have dueling celebrations like we saw last season. A non-championship driver wins the event, while the champion celebrates, kind of next to him. Bobby Pierce won the World 100 last month, and this is an event, the Dirt Track World Championship, he does not have on his resume. I think he's a potential win pick for sure. It'll be a very good weekend to head to the track. Weather looks like it's going to be chef's kiss all 3 days. The other late model championship that will be decided this weekend is the Comp Cam's Super Dirt Series. They're at Texarkana 67 and Super B Speedways. Logan Martin enters with 21 points on Morgan Bagley and 30 on BJ Robinson. That one is definitely going to come down to the wire. The World of Outlaws sprint cars are going to be back on the dirt at Route 66 Friday and Saturday. The Joliet, Illinois racetrack hasn't seen the Outlaws in 7 years. Donnie Schatz, the most recent winner there. That's not shocking, but that night when he won, both Jason Sides and Craig Kinzer led laps. All that's left on the Outlaws schedule is these 2 nights at Joliet. Then we've got 2 more at Riverside and 3 races at World Finals. David Gravel's lead over Carson Macedo is 72 points, so that's about 10.3 points per race that Macedo needs to gain. That's right about 5 positions if you figure 2 points per position. If Gravel doesn't have trouble, that feels like it's just probably not doable at this point, but we'll see. Out in California, Trophy Cup 30 starts tonight at the Tulare Thunderbolt. Like I said earlier this week, $300,000 will get paid out over 3 days, and there should be a boatload of 360 sprint cars in the pits. We haven't had an entry list update this week, but things will likely be different than what we see on the Trophy Cup website. Several entries with TBAs do have drivers. We talked about the Roth car with Tim's, and we know that Trey Starks is in the 26 and not Zeb Wise. Another change that we will likely see is Rico Abreu. He's listed, but I don't know that he's racing. The Trophy Cup isn't on his schedule on his website, and his social media accounts have been quiet since before the High Limit finale. That's definitely going to be one to pay attention to. A Trophy Cup runs through Saturday night. It's available to stream as pay-per-view on The Cushion. A couple of other notable events this weekend. The ASCS National Tour, they're at Riverside for 2 nights, 10,000 win on Saturday. More than 60 sprint cars expected for this one. And as others have pointed out, this event, a little bit of short track nationals vibes to it. Seth Bergman leads the ASCS title fight right now. He's pulled away from Sam Hafertepe in recent weeks to well over 100 points ahead. Lincoln Speedway ends their 2024 season on Saturday. They got 15,000 to win for the 410 sprint cars. Troy Wagaman on his way to that Lincoln Track Championship, but with no competition and good money on the line, I think this event should draw a nice field. And the USAC Silver Crown Series, they're going to close out their season on Saturday. This one, not a dirt race. It's on the pavement at IRP, but Silver Crown Series, they have a bunch of dirt races, so we talk about them. The championship, it's going to come down to Cody Swanson and Justin Grant, the 2 separated by just 6 points. Swanson, though, the edge on the pavement, he's much better on the pavement here than most everybody else in that series, but he can't afford to have any issues. If he blinks at all, Grant will be right there. That's the Daily Show for today and this week. The support from you guys, always appreciated. Thanks to everybody that tunes in for your comments, the messages, the tips, all of it. Enjoy a big weekend of dirt racing out there. We will see you right back here on Sunday.